You're listening to the Chris or Jenny Show on WCOM LP Chapel Hill and Carrboro.
Did you make any New Year's resolutions?
Yes, to learn how to tackle my dad.
What?
With one hand.
That sounds terrible.
Sounds right.
Okay, can you believe I got Kerri on the show?
Yes. He's not a complete stranger that you just asked to come on the show.
Right. They have a huge dog named Wrigley. She's going to give everyone tips and installments. Do you have any requests for tips for Kerri?
No. I have to tell children not to copy me because everybody always copies me every day.
Okay, children, please don't copy my daughter. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And so let's start the show.
I jumped on my good bin, I shook him by the hand, and we passed the time of day, when questioning on his views, and across the vice philosophy, he had the needs to clear, a simple words to say, I am going, any which way the wind may be blowing, I am going, where streams of whiskey are flowing, my old curse bled and sore, jump bail and landed up in jail, I was up in tried to country, but the road always been slack. And now another pile. I'll go down to the Chelsea. I'll walk in on my feet, but I'll lay there on my back because I'm going. I am going. Any which way the wind may be blowing. I am going. Where streams of whiskey are flowing. Yeah! Philosophy, there was nothing ever gained by a wetting cold tear when the world stood dark. And underneath the light inside of me, I walk into a bar and drink 15 pints of beer because I know I am going. Any which way the wind may be blowing. I am going. Where streams of whiskey are flowing. I am going. Any which way the wind may be blowing. I am going. Where streams of whiskey are flowing. Where streams of whiskey are flowing. Where streams of whiskey are flowing.
Good evening, friends. Happy New Year, everybody. It is January 1st. Kerri Heilman, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good evening, Chris.
My goodness. Welcome, Kerri. How are you tonight?
I am fantastic. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. So for our wonderful audience, welcome to the show.
I am so glad to be back. It's like seeing an old friend, except not seeing you.
Oh, my goodness. So for folks that don't follow football, tonight was the national championship playoff. And Notre Dame did not fare well against Alabama. Of course, you're playing frickin' Alabama, but Kerri, I'm sorry. I know that didn't go your way. It didn't go my way either, that game.
Oh, man. A win over Bama would have been a great way to start the year. But if you play the Rose Bowl and you're not at the Rose Bowl, I don't know. I feel like nothing really counts this year.
Amen. Doesn't count. This whole year is so wacky. And so we're just going to pick up the broken eggs and make an omelet, Kerri. That's what I'm thinking tonight.
Totally. Just a mulligan. We'll do it all over.
I want to say hello to friends that are listening from all over the country, Kerri. You know, this show, we're everywhere. We're in, welcome to Huntersville, North Carolina. Hello to Topsail Beach, North Carolina, Kerri. Have you ever been there?
Oh, no. That sounds amazing right now.
Do you think it'd be weird to live in a beach community year-round?
You know, we tried it a little while when Aaron was playing for the Mets. We lived in Florida where spring training was.
Yeah.
I would say, 4 out of 10 stars would not recommend.
Jess and I talk about that all the time. Like every time we go to the beach, we're like, okay, this is 2 hours from where we live. Why don't we just move here? But then I feel like, I think it'd be great in the fall. and great in the spring, annoying in the summer, and then in the winter you would just be, I think you'd just be incredibly bored in the winter. What do you think?
I think so. I'm not a super hot summer person, so I would for sure not want to be there all summer.
Yeah.
What I learned growing up in Sausalito, where you have two more listeners, by the way.
Hello to Sausalito.
California,
Yeah, let's say hello to them.
It's a great little town, but in order for the town to survive, it has to, thrive on tourism. So as a local, you begin to sort of dislike the tourism because it cramps your style. So if you can stay semi-local and you don't ever have that resentment for tourists and you don't mind going to the ice cream shops and the cafes when they're crowded, then I think that's best. But year-round, you start to sort of loathe the tourists who invade your local space.
And I had a friend on a couple months ago, Dr. Laurel Stolte, who is in Asheville, just Asheville, North Carolina, and she said the exact same thing.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, of course, right, exactly, about Asheville, and then apply that to a beach community. So, I can see how that'd be craziness. But I'll tell you, we do love going in the fall. That is our favorite time to go.
Keep it special then. Keep it special. Don't make it monotonous.
So hello to friends in Richmond, Virginia, and we always welcome our friends in Burien, Washington, and Geneva, Illinois, Kerri.
Agreed. Hello to everyone.
Hello to all of them. The show is having a fundraiser right now. Whatever the opposite of gangbusters is, that's how the fundraiser's going. But we've had a couple of friends pitch in with a few things. And listen to this, Kerri. I've got a big announcement for the show tonight.
Okay, I'm waiting.
One of our listeners, Commissioner Joe Hauser in Burien, Washington, made a donation. And I asked him, well, what perk do you want? We've offered a bunch of perks. There's one where DJ Simons will come to your house and give you a back massage. Jenny has a perk that she's offered. And one of them was that you'll do a stall note specifically for the guest. And I offered that up to Joe Hauser. And here's what he said, Kerri. I'm going to put you on the spot live right now in front of our entire audience. Are you ready?
Okay.
I told him I would ask you. Okay, Joe, if you want the perk of Kerri doing a stall notes for you, that's one thing. And he's like, how about this, Chris? See if you can get me on her family's Christmas card list.
Oh, it's an exclusive list, but
I know, that's what I told him. That's what I told him. I was like, listen, I'm not going to overpromise. I'm just lucky when Kerri calls in. And but I wanted to bring that up. And then one of his questions was just, what does it take to get on the Heilman Christmas list? So, okay, Kerri, take it away. What do you think?
Well, we are skilled negotiators in this home, and we went through the toddler years, which makes you very good at negotiating. And Aaron was a union rep for MLB when he was playing and then after. So I would say he might have to double down on his donation, or he might have to have a subscription donation, like the annual monthly deductions, maybe if it's worth an entire year's worth of Christmas cards. But you can tell him that once you're on the list, you stay on the list.
Did you hear that, Joe? Well, one theory that he had, Kerri, he was like, well, maybe what we could do is let's just send Kerri a Christmas card. Because I will tell you, Joe and Sam's cards are hilarious and well worth getting. So he was like, maybe I'll just send them a card and they'll automatically reply. What do you think?
That circumvents the donation, though. Let's loop the donation in for sure. Get him on the 2021 list.
I knew you'd be good at trying to raise funds for this show, so I appreciate that, Kerri.
I would happily include them on my Christmas card list. And if it included a return Christmas card from them, that would be even better. It would sweeten the deal.
All right, Joe. Commissioner Hauser, if you're listening, there's a possibility right there for you. And I'll tell you, Kerri, we had another very nice donation from the always generous Patty Huff. And
absolutely.
She's always so generous and so kind with her giving any way she can. And she opted for the Jenny Cook playlist perk. I do 2 shows a month, and my friend and partner Jenny does 2 shows a month. She's going to do a playlist just specifically for Patty in February.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about what's on it. That sounds amazing. Yeah. Is she going to do a cocktail pairing with the playlist, maybe?
That's a great idea. I'm going to add
that.
Double
the donation.
Hold on. Yeah, Kerri, double the donation. Jenny or Patty for listening, double the donation, and we want a cocktail pairing. I like that, Kerri. That's great. And Joe did just text you. He said he's in. He doubled his donation. Listen to this, guys. You're not going to believe it. I've been sitting into the dark up until now. They just turned the lights on in the studio. Thanks to those donations that we just drove in.
Hey, the lights are on.
Well, Kerri Heilman is back. The audience loves you on the show. Listen to this, Kerri. So not long ago, the great Alex Trebek, rest his soul, no longer with us, I polled the Chris or Jenny audience, the most sophisticated audience in radio, and I asked them.
Indeed.
Yeah, of course. You're in it. And I asked them, who should replace Alex Trebek? I'm not making this up, Kerri. It was a tie between you and Samuel L. Jackson as who should replace Alex Trebek. What are your thoughts on that?
Wow, I am honored. Would they accept maybe a co-hosting role? Because check out the big brain on Samuel. Like, I could really do some bits with him.
That's pretty good company. I mean, like, and listen, just for the record, what's the guy's name who's really good at Jeopardy who actually is going to be the replacement? Jennings. Jennings was
Ken Jennings, yeah.
He was on my list, Kerri, and the audience still went for you and Samuel. So
wow,
yeah.
I am honored. Well, I would happily accept even a guest hosting role. But thank you, Chris or Jenny audience, for thinking of me. Jessica and I, for sure, watched a lot of Jeopardy when we were in college. It was a good time in the evening. It was between working together and going out together. Usually Jeopardy was on in the late afternoon.
You talk about Dr. Jess Amsbury?
Dr. Jess Amsbury.
So
yeah.
it was toward her bedtime, but you still had a couple hours to go, I would guess.
Sometimes, or maybe I would be, coming back. Jessica would be, cleaned up and ready for bed. But we also watched a little bit of, daytime television together too. So we had our favorites.
Do you know that if you record Jeopardy on your DVR, you can watch an episode in 15 minutes?
Oh, that's excellent.
But
the commercials of Jeopardy, they used to have the best product placement. So, some of their commercials were worth it. But
have you seen the series of commercials that's out that I love right now? And I'm so happy they just did 2 new ones. I think the company is like Geico or whatever, and it's the guy who tries to stop people from becoming their parents. And he's like,
yes.
And he's like, the way I try to stop people, I try to get them out of the home. And he takes them to a store, and they're like, did he ask for your help?
Those are great commercials. They've had a good stretch of great commercials. A girlfriend of mine used to watch Jeopardy, and when she was married to her evil ex-husband, and she would beat him every night as they watched it after dinner, and he was kind of full of himself, and he hated that she, who he considered just this, stay-at-home mom, would always beat him at Jeopardy.
Yeah.
And what he didn't know was that in their local town, Jeopardy played at 11 in the morning,
Oh.
and then replayed at 7:30.
Nice.
And so she would watch the 11 o'clock show while her kids were napping, remember the answers, and then beat her, now former husband at Jeopardy.
That's brilliant. So if it's a regular episode of Jeopardy, I can get a handful of the answers right. But when it's like Teen Jeopardy, Jess and I were like, yeah, Teen Jeopardy, because we can get a lot more of the, or Celebrity, because we can get a lot more of the answers.
Celebrity is even easier. Yes, I agree. Yes. And always made for the best SNL skits too. The Trebek skits were some of our favorites. I didn't realize how much we quoted that particular skit until after Trebek passed away, and we have a few nicknames. In fact, I think we even call our dog Turds Ferguson sometimes. He's misbehaving. So
rest his soul, Alex Trebek. We love you. Rest his soul. I actually did. So you and I pretty much every time we talk about SNL. My love for that show.
Yeah. I do.
I emailed. It was just Alex Trebek's team. You can go on the website and get an email to him. And I was like, you need to have a Jeopardy and have Will Ferrell host it and make all the categories about SNL, because number one, I think I'd be good at that. But I was like, you should do that, and they did email me back, but they never had the show that I wanted them to have.
Oh, they didn't accept your suggestion. You should have told them to double the donation, Chris. They might have accepted it had it been for charity.
They did email me back though. I thought that was pretty cool, and they were like,
that is excellent.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, we're trying to get Will Ferrell, to come host. And I was like, it's less about Will Ferrell. It's more about, because they have themes, right? I mean, they have have a Jeopardy and have all the clues be SNL related. And I think that's what I wanted them to have. And I think I could have excelled in that. Maybe.
Anything's possible. Perhaps they'll open it up in this new era of new Jeopardy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Friends, thank you for listening. This is a segment that Kerri has done a couple of times and people love this. Is this your 3rd or 4th stall notes?
I think it might be my 4th.
So let's rock out one more song and then we'll get to your stall notes. How does that sound?
Oh, that sounds great.
All right.
I'm gonna fight 'em all. A 7-nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right behind my back. And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget you to the hounds of hell. And if I catch it coming back my way, I'm gonna serve it to you. And that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what I'll do. And the feeling coming from my bones says find a I'm going to Wichita, far from this opera forevermore. I'm gonna work the straw, make the sweat drip out of every pore. And I'm bleeding, and I'm bleeding, and I'm bleeding right before the Lord. All the words are gonna bleed from me, and I will think no more. And the stains coming from my blood tell me go back home.
White Stripes. Good call, Kerri. That's a great song.
Wasn't it a great song?
Yeah.
Brings back some good memory.
Let's just dive into stall notes. Is that good for you?
I am totally ready. So I'm going to start out with a quick and easy tip for maybe your weekend breakfast.
All right.
We love to make pancakes here of all kinds and shapes and additions.
Indeed.
And here is a trick. Pancake mix of any kind or your own homemade scratch recipe.
All right.
Replace whatever liquid you have, replace half of it with 7-Up. And it makes the fluffiest pancakes because the citric acid and the carbonation in the 7-Up reacts with that pancake mix with the leavening agent, makes them super fluffy, and they're winners every time.
Really? How
Yes.
did you discover that in the first place?
My darling mother-in-law, Mrs. Heilman, the original Mrs. Heilman, told me that. And we've tried it, and ever since. And if you don't keep 7-Up in the house, you can also use sparkling water. So LaCroix or any sparkling water you like. But it's that effervescence, I think, and a little bit of citric acid or a little bit of sour, so maybe a teaspoon of lemon juice, will react with those pancakes and keep them fluffy.
So any liquid that would normally go into pancakes, which would be milk and water, replace that with 7-Up.
Usually.
Could it be Sprite or that type of carbonated beverage?
It is choose your own adventure. It could be 7-Up, it could be Sprite, it could be maybe ginger ale,
Oh,
it could
my
be LaCroix.
goodness.
Don't throw the tonic or the Fresca in there, but, just something mild. And I promise, this weekend, when you make pancakes, they'll be really bubbly and they'll be really fluffy.
Kerri, that's a good stall nut. My audience is going nuts. I just got like 15 texts after that one. Okay, people love that one. So again, folks, replace the liquid in pancakes with Sprite or 7-Up. Give it a try. They'll be fluffy and delicious.
Absolutely.
Okay, Kerri, what else you got for us?
Okay, so this year we've ordered a lot of groceries to our house
Oh, my
for the
goodness.
first time. I
Yeah.
generally used to be a grocery shopper, but,
Yeah.
we've all changed.
Yeah.
And what we've learned is that when you're getting a delivery, and sometimes you'll text back and forth with an Instacart or a shipped worker, what I have learned to do when they say, I'm on my way to your house, I take a little piece of printer paper or whatever blank paper, a decent-sized piece of, 8.5 by 11,
Yeah.
and I write our last name, our address number, and the name, if they give you, like of the shipped shopper. Usually I get shipped shopper Shannon. I love her. She's the best. And I write those things on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
and I tape it to my front door because we do contactless where they leave it at your front door. And then in my conversation with my shopper, I text them a picture of our front door with that note on the door. And we have never had a single problem with anyone finding our address or leaving the wrong groceries at the wrong door. And they always say, thanks so much, because they can confirm that's the door, that's the paper, that's my name, shipped shopper Shannon. And it has saved a lot of problems because we have weird addresses out here in Chicago. You've been to our house. They're a little unusual. So
also, you think about those drivers right now, because more and more and more of us are ordering groceries online. And I tell you what, Kerri, it has come about because of the pandemic. It's increased greatly because of the pandemic, but it's not going to go away. I think a year from now and 2 years from now and 3 years from now, people are still going to be ordering their groceries online. Those drivers, and don't just assume you always have the same driver. It could be someone different. So you're saying post something on your door, send them a picture of it, and they've greatly appreciated that, is what you're saying. That's a great tip.
You know, anytime you can make someone's job easier when they're helping you, I think it goes a long way. So just a little thing, you can use a Sharpie. My kid would draw a smiley face or something on it.
Yeah.
Just something that says, hey, I recognize you, and thanks for doing what you do. And it makes it much easier to find our house, especially if you have apartments, too, you know, or maybe townhouse doors that are all look the same. Here's my door.
I see on Nextdoor, I see all the time, you hear and see like posts of my packages didn't show up, or I'm missing 2 packages. UPS said they delivered them. So anything we can do to help the delivery folks that have a really hard job right now, anytime, but especially now, that's a great tip, Kerri.
Absolutely.
That's a really good one. I like that
Essential
one.
worker.
I've decided that I'm going to take all of the stall notes you've ever done, narrow them down to my favorite 4 or 5, and then have the audience pick the best stall note of like your first year. So both of those are candidates. Wow. Yeah, both of those are candidates, Kerri.
Oh, well, I'm glad to know they're popular, and I can't even believe I had enough to make a top 10 list. But,
all right, what else?
Okay, so I'm going to look forward to the fact that in 2021 we are going to get back to socializing. And it's been a long time since I've seen you and your family, but it's been almost as long since I've seen almost anyone else, even my neighbors. We've been extremely cautious and careful. You know, we've had a very unusual year. But once we start socializing again, I would like to remind your listening population, all of my dear viewers or listeners out there, that when you have a get-together in your home, you should stock your powder room, whatever restroom you're having at your party, you should stock it with a couple of things.
Okay.
You know, the normal, make sure you have hand towels, extra toilet paper, accessible, you know, things that normal tips. But after hearing 2 stories from close friends about powder room mishaps, you should keep your plunger in your powder room inside a Target bag, double bag it.
Okay.
Right?
The double bag plunger.
Your plunger there, right? You also might want to add like just an extra trash bag. You never know. But if someone is in a panicked situation, they're going to go through whatever cabinet or little basket or little area in your powder room to find any dire situation. So you want to offer them a plunger and a trash bag. Kind of relates to another stall note about an accident. But if you're going to socialize, you make sure that your party guests, because it may not be the person who you expect to need the plunger, but it may be like your dear, dear friend who experiences a crisis situation, and she says, you know what, Kerri, keeps a plunger underneath this counter. I'm going to help you out.
Kerri, would you label the bag like with little Post-it notes so they know the plunger's in there? Or put it just so where like if they're going to start rifling through, they'll find it easily?
I tend to keep my plunger double bagged in like a Target trash bag or, you know, a Target bag underneath the sink. So it's hidden because I have a cabinet sink. Yeah. I keep it out of view. You know, nobody wants to see a plunger. It's one of those things you don't want to admit you know it, but you know what it's for. And so I keep it handy there.
That's a brilliant stall note.
But I don't know.
Eventually we'll get to a point where our biggest problem might be we need the plunger at someone else's house. I can't wait for that day. I can't wait to have that problem.
I can't wait for that day. I can't wait for that day. I would love to have people come and use my restroom.
Yeah. Listen, I have no problem. I'll come to someone's house and just take a shower. Just like, look, I'm here. Thank you for having me over. I'm taking a shower. I'm sleeping on your couch. I'll be here for 2 or 3 days. So that's how we like to party. So.
Gosh, doesn't that sound great?
It does. Oh man, Kerri, another brilliant stall note. Do you got another one for us, or are we?
I have, like, you tell me. I have 1 or 2 more. What do we have time for?
Give me one more good one. I'll tell you what. We got to get on to advice. I got a ton of advice queries, so give me one more good stall note, and then we'll switch to advice.
Okay. Since we talked about Christmas cards with your benefactor, Commissioner Hauser, I would like to remind everyone that holiday cards are super hard work. They're expensive. They're thoughtful, especially the Amsbury family one that comes.
Thank you.
And I feel a great deal of commitment to the cards. But not all of us can keep, I mean, we get probably maybe 100 to 150 cards every year. We get tons of cards. And I love looking at them, but I don't have the space or the patience to keep them up all year round.
Right.
So what I like to do is, before I recycle them, which I am a diligent recycler.
Good job.
Generally, they're photo cards in this day and age. I take a photo of their cute family photo, and I put them into my phone contact list, and I use that photo for them all year.
Oh.
It's a cute family photo, or their dog, or whatever they chose. If it's a family photo card,
Yeah.
I snap it and I put it in my phone all year. So then when I get a phone call from Chris or Jessica, I see one of your holiday photo cards with your cute family on it.
I love it. That's brilliant. I'm not surprised you get a lot of cards, Kerri, because you guys are wonderful people. So there's no surprise that a lot of people would want to exchange those with you. Now,
Well, thank you. We have a lot of good friends.
But here's a question, though. Is the reason you brought that stall note up because earlier Commissioner Hauser is trying to get on that list? Are you trying to deter him from getting on that list, Kerri?
No, I think maybe I'm trying to bait him. Maybe I can add him. I have an old contact in my phone. I'm not sure if it's an updated Commissioner Hauser contact, but I would love to add a photo to it.
No, I know. And they're good. I'm telling you, their cards are really funny, so that's good. Have you got ours yet, by the way? They went out really late.
I
this year.
did. I loved them. I won't spoil it for any of your listeners who may have not received it yet.
Yeah.
The U.S. Postal Service was very behind this year, so we're still getting them trickling in.
Normally we try to do something funny, but this year, both Jess and I are just like, oh, I can't think of anything funny. So Jess jumped on the family PJs bandwagon. So I'll just tell everybody. So it's us and family PJs. And my daughter's, so cute. So just like the cuteness, hopefully will overtake the fact that we're not being funny this year because we just couldn't think of it. Any funny, creative energy I have, Kerri, has to go toward this show. Our card wasn't particularly funny this year, but I love your idea. So you just take the photo, take a picture of it, and then that's your call contact for that person.
Yeah, so for all year long, you see it, and then I'll see your cute family pajamas when you give me a phone call or when I talk to your lovely wife.
Kerri, you are brilliant. People love these stall notes, and she delivers again, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Let me hear you.
I try.
Come on,
I
audience. Come on, audience. Kerri Heilman, everybody. All right, here we go. Maggie Rogers.
Would you believe me now if I told you I got caught up in a wave? Almost gave it away. Would you hear me out if I told you I was terrified for days? Thought I was gonna break. Oh, I couldn't stop it, tried to slow it all down. Crying in the bathroom, had to figure it out. With everyone around me saying, you must be so happy now. Oh, if you keep reaching out, then I'll keep coming back. If you're gone for good, then I'm okay with that. If you leave the light on, then I'll leave the light on. I am finding out there's just no other way, and I'm still dancing at the end of the day. If you leave the light on, then I'll leave the light on. And do you believe me now that I always had the best intentions, babe? Always wanted to stay. Can you feel me now that I'm vulnerable in oh so many ways? Oh, and I'll never change. Oh, I couldn't stop it, tried to figure it out, but everything kept moving and the noise got too loud. With everyone around me saying, you should be so happy now. Oh, if you
if you're good, let's just roll right into some advice, and then we'll get a few of those out, and then we'll call it a night. How does that sound?
Okay, let's roll. Let's do this.
Again, folks, Kerri Heilman, good friend of the show. She's been on multiple times. The audience loves her. She does her stall notes bit, and then she gives advice periodically. And I got a ton of inquiries. Let me get them up here. I already kind of gave you one earlier when Commissioner Hauser was asking, how do I get on the Heilman Christmas card list? And Joe, I think she just gave you a playbook for how to figure that out. So now it's on you, buddy.
I have confidence.
Let's see here. Okay, here's a good one. So a good friend of mine, Stephanie Hardman, now Stephanie Landers, and she was wondering the following. So she's one of these friends who, whenever we go to a social event, be it a party, it doesn't matter, a party, a kid's party, an adult's party, it doesn't matter. She likes to work the entire crowd. We call it the Hardman Shuffle. So she'll go talk to you, and then she'll come talk to me, and then she'll come talk to that guy over there, and then the other people in the other room. Like, she knows everybody anywhere we go, and she talks to all of them. Now,
I love it.
Yeah, me too. It's awesome. It's one of the many wonderful qualities. But she recently was hanging out with some friends, some kind of newer work colleagues, Kerri, and they went to an outing. They went to I don't know if it was a bar, wherever they were. They went to an event. Stephanie started doing the Hardman Shuffle, which should surprise no one, and those new colleagues got mad. Got mad at her that she was saying what's up and working the crowd, as she's been doing since the late 80s, as far as I can tell. So, Kerri,
wow.
What is your advice for Stephanie Hardman, who probably wants to continue doing the shuffle, but who also doesn't want to offend her new colleagues?
I think what's happening here is that when your real life friends and your work friends sort of intermingle, they see, different Stephanies, and they may not be familiar with the Hardman Shuffle.
Right.
So what she might need to do is work in some of the things that her coworkers are more familiar with. So she might have to say, hey guys, I'm going to circle back to this topic when after I get this drink. Or she might say, let's think outside of the box. Some of those things that you get used to with your work people, and all those words that you say with work people that you would never say with friends. And maybe they'll pick up on the shuffle is how she's interacting with each of us,
right.
And she could say, maybe I'm going to just jump on a call quick, or shoot me an email about that later. And maybe that would make them a little bit more at ease with how she interacts with people in mixed company.
But now, Kerri, do the friends have a right to be upset?
I don't think so. I think probably what's happened is a misunderstanding, which, as we know, is usually remedied by a little communication.
A little communication.
So I think it's a misunderstanding. But if you're with someone who has a thing named after her, you should just be happy to be hanging out with her. So I think for sure they've misunderstood.
That's how I feel. I mean, she's been my friend since I was a junior in high school, and every time I see her, if it's 5 minutes or an hour, I'm like, great. But I know she's going to shuffle off and hang out with somebody else. I'm not offended by that, but I've been friends with her for a long time. So
right.
There you go. I hope that's helpful. Jennifer in Richmond. Here you go, Kerri. You ready for this?
All right, Jennifer. I'm here.
It's silly but serious. How do you stop your family from discussing poop and bowel movements right after meeting new people? It's very standard conversation in our world, but it certainly makes for awkward moments with new friends. So again, kind of on the new friends category.
Well, in our family, we went through a stage when my daughter was a little younger, and, things like this would come up. And then, as you know, recently we've had some teenagers who've lived with us. We've been a host family for some teen skaters.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of bubbled up, no pun intended, again this year. And, what I realize is that you've heard me say it before.
Okay.
Your family needs a code word. And generally, we use a code word when we need to speak about those things. And if it's, sometimes we'll say tummy troubles, or, you can use your family code word. Our family code word to escape an awkward situation was shrimp. So, you could use something like that and make it known amongst your kids that, hey, if you need to make those conversations, go ahead and say, hey, Mom, I'm going to go check to see if shrimp's on the menu. And if you keep your kids looped in a secret code, they generally will enjoy the secret code. So, if they're doing it for fun, then you just have to lightly glaze over with your new friends and say, pardon me, my children are making memories.
The shrimp code word makes a return to our show. But now, Kerri, she did not specify if it was her kids talking about bowel movements. What if it was her husband? He's a wild guy. Chris is his name also. I know him as well.
Oh.
What if it's an adult that's talking about poop early on in a conversation with brand new people that you want to eventually be friends with?
You definitely want to shut it down. That's when you use your your co-parent or your spouse shut it down word. We all have one. Or for me, it's just an eyebrow. It's an eyebrow cocked slightly to the right.
Yeah.
And, the crease between my eyebrows forms, and Aaron knows right away to stop talking about that.
Oh, you're so good.
Maybe followed by a swift kick in the shins if it's not working. But I think, we're all a little out of practice with socializing.
We are. What are we going to do, Kerri?
2021, we're going to have like a slow reentry period into polite conversation. But all of us have overshared far too much amongst our friends and group messages. So, everyone will give each other grace.
A friend brings wine as a gift. Do I drink it or say? A friend brings wine. Do I drink it or save it as a gift? Summer in Huntington. What do you got for that one? I know the Amesbury answer
Summer.
to that.
I made a horrible mistake when I was newly married, and we had some nice friends of Aaron's who came from his hometown and visited us in Florida. And I made a lot of newlywed mistakes at that dinner party we can talk about some other time. But they brought wine, and I was making risotto, another sidebar. No, don't make risotto for the first time with company.
Yeah.
But I was making risotto, and I needed white wine, and I knew they brought a dry white wine, and I added it to the recipe because I thought I was being polite. And the woman, she would never admit that she took offense, but I think she was offended that I added her wine to my recipe, because I think she thought, no, we're supposed to drink that. So I would say if it's white wine, chill it and get it ready. If it's red wine, determine if it's going to go with your first or your second course, and offer to open it right away if you don't have something open. Generally, people like to see you open gifts in front of them. So if that means open the wine and drink it, by all means do it.
Right.
The only other thing I would suggest is if you're having a large party, by the end of 2021, we're all having large parties again.
That's right.
What I like to do at parties is I always have either a chalk marker or they're popular in wine stores, like a little wine marker that you write on glasses and you write people's names. So what I like to do is right in front of that person, I write their name and when they gave me the wine on the bottle. So then next time I open it, I say, oh, Chris and Jessica gave this to us in October of 2020. And it's fun. Sometimes I can send a fun text message like, hey, we finally opened your wine. The other thing it prevents you from doing is either regifting or bringing that bottle to someone else's house. So just a chalk marker. You could even use a Sharpie on the label, something to say, Summer gave me this wine, January 2021, and then you can enjoy it at leisure. But it makes them feel special. You always want to acknowledge a gift and make the giver feel special.
That is so good. Kerri, you're the best. Oh, my goodness.
I'm here to help.
Thank you. That was wonderful. I think the audience is really going to enjoy that one. Yeah, I think back to the cooking thing, it's sort of generally you would think that a wine used in cooking, there could be a perception that it's like a lower quality or something. 'Cause, like you drink better wines than you cook. Maybe that was part of it.
Right. I think she was of that mentality you wouldn't put this in food, yes. But generally, now that I know, I've cooked a lot in my 18 years of marriage, your wine that you're putting in your food should be at least of high quality that you're going to drink, because the flavors concentrate and bring out the best in your dish. So open the good wine, guzzle a little bit, dump a little in your risotto, take the edge off, and everyone will be just fine.
Thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure. It is always fun and exciting. I never know what I'm going to get when I call into your show. So keep me guessing and make my brain grow. We always say when you do something familiar in a different way, you're growing your brain.
That's
so
right.
Here I am.
That's right. Well, I absolutely love having you on the show. Tell hello to your I want to get into that, the ice skaters living in your house. We'll save that for a future episode because we're about to get kicked off the air. Kerri, any last words before I let you go?
I just want to wish everyone a very happy, healthy, safe, and graceful New Year. We all deserve it. Be good to each other.
Happy New Year's, friends. And Kerri Heilman, thank you so much. Take care, my friend.
All right, Chris. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around. And I saw my reflection in snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? then my heart rise above. Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting older too.
Welcome back to Celebrity Jeopardy! Before we begin the double Jeopardy round, I'd like to ask our contestants once again, please refrain from using ethnic slurs. That said, let's take a look at the scores. Sean Connery has set a new Jeopardy record with negative $230,000.
You think you're pretty smart, don't you, Trebek? What with your dago mustache and your greasy hair?
Look, what did I just say about ethnic slurs? From third Rock from the Sun, French Stewart in second place with negative $17,000.
I'm a late bloomer, Alex, and in Double Jeopardy, I'm gonna bloom.
Sure you will. And finally, back again, Burt Reynolds in a commanding lead with $14.
Hey, check out the podium. Look at this.
Mr. Reynolds has apparently changed his name to Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, that's right. Turd Ferguson. It's a funny name.
Great. Let's take a look at the final board. And the categories are potent potables, sharp things, movies that start with the word Jaws, a petit déjeuner. That category is about French phrases, so let's just skip it.
Hey, I speak a little French. You're an assbite. Pardon my French.
My name's French.
Yeah, well, who gives a damn?
Moving on. Animal sounds, condiments, and finally, your ass or a hole in the ground. Mr. Reynolds, unfortunately, you're in the lead, so we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'll take the condom thing for 8,000.
That's condiments for 400. This condiment is made from mustard seeds. French Stewart.
The answer, of course, is onions. I'll take condiments for 800, thank you.
That's not the right answer. Burt Reynolds.
That's not my name.
Okay. Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, what do you want?
You buzzed in.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, well, that's your opinion.
I hate my job.